I want to talk a bit more about the trial I mentioned in yesterday's video and provide some details. Now, as I mentioned in this trial, it was a tax penalty case. I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with the defendant, and since he was representing himself without a lawyer, I asked for his permission and thoroughly examined the files from the VUAG system. When I looked at the files in detail, I found that he had made a mistake regarding the issue I warned you about in my previous videos. What is this mistake? I'm telling you now. Yes, a tax inspector. Yes, sends a notification and wants to examine the books of this company. And unfortunately, the financial advisor does not check this notification, and no one is aware of this notification in any way. Since it is delivered electronically, after a certain period, it is considered read. So, you can't say, unfortunately, that you didn't see it, didn't read it, or weren't aware of it. Now, this is considered read, and afterwards, the tax inspector naturally expects a book, an explanation, or any response. When no response is received, they impose the necessary penalties, along with the explanations, the necessary explanation. They are already related to their own work. This is a detailed topic in itself. After providing the explanations, they impose the penalty, and the penalty is a very significant amount. Subsequently, as required by procedure, they also file a criminal complaint with the prosecutor's office. Against whom is this criminal complaint filed? Of course, it is not filed against the financial advisor. Even if you have a financial advisor, the company official is responsible in this matter. I had mentioned this before. Company officials are always responsible. There are some points where you can avoid responsibility. Those are also detailed. I will also mention this topic, again separately. Now here, the company official, both the manager of the company and the board of directors, have joint and several liability. Naturally, he appears before the court himself. And he made his defense in court as follows. He says, I'm a foreign national in Turkey. I do not have sufficient legal knowledge in the country where I live, where I am a citizen. When we give a power of attorney, all responsibility lies with the financial advisor or lawyer. I do not follow these matters. Moreover, he says, the book you're asking for, he says, was previously, I had obtained a loss decision for this book. A loss decision was obtained. So such a book does not exist. In short, after seeing this notification later, the defendant takes all these ASIS books and other necessary documents. He goes to the tax inspectorate, goes there and shows the necessary documents. However, another point where he might escape from this situation is by filing a lawsuit against the tax office. He files the lawsuit and he also loses the lawsuit because, unfortunately in Turkey, the chances of winning lawsuits against public institutions seem very low because they are not thoroughly examined and tolerance is not provided. He also loses the lawsuit. So the situation becomes inevitable. The court process begins. During the court process, due to representing himself without a lawyer, he pays the necessary fee to his lawyer. But his lawyer is nowhere to be found, in no statement, in no defense. Naturally, he dismisses his lawyer and sincerely defends himself on this matter. When he makes his own defense, he does exactly as I said. He says, I have no bad intentions. He says, I'm only here because I didn't see it, but I already showed the necessary documents to the inspector. He says, if I had bad intentions, I wouldn't have shown them. And meanwhile, the court summons the tax inspector to the hearing as a witness. The inspector also comes. He says exactly what the defendant said. Yes, he says, this person is well-intentioned. He has no guilt. Unfortunately, due to procedure, we have to do this, he says. Here, the judge also doesn't quite understand the issue because it's truly a complicated situation. The trial is still ongoing. He will probably be acquitted. However, if he couldn't be acquitted, he would face at least 2 years of imprisonment. So be cautious. You have given power of attorney. You have a financial advisor. You have a lawyer. Don't think that you are at ease. You are responsible for the mistakes they make.